Hey everyone, this is Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission, and I have another What Sold video for you guys today. If you are new to the channel, I am a 14-year online reseller, and I currently sell on eBay, Poshmark, and Depop. And I primarily do clothes with a little bit of accessories, shoes, and every once in a while like a home goods or houseware type of item. So I have been doing basically two different types of what sold videos. This is literally where I just spill the tea and tell you guys what is selling and for how much for me. So I will literally show you what has sold for me, and I'm doing two different ones. I'm doing a 2-day, a weekend what sold, and then I'm doing a middle of the week, a 5-day what sold video. And I kind of like the way that has been going. I feel like it is good for me to kind of compare those two time frames, and then it can really tell me, like, are sales up, are they down, do I need to do a sale, is there something different that I should be doing? So I think it's been going pretty well. So 5 days now. if you don't know, I am always like a week or two behind, and I feel like that's probably always going to be my vibe. I don't know what that says about me. However, I do have multiple side hustles, and I do have 2 boys that I'm raising from home. That's why I'm Mama on a Mission. That's why I do this, because it gives me the flexibility to work when I want. Sometimes I work till midnight. Sometimes I work in the middle of the day. There's all different types of reasons why I flip, and being able to be the mom I want to be is one of them, because it gives me some kind of flexibility in being a mom. So I am also always behind, it seems like just by a week or two. But either which way, these are items that have sold recently for me. 5 days, it's March 3rd to the 7th. So if you're doing the math in your head, by the time I get this posted, you're right, I'm like 2 weeks behind. However, the sales were fairly consistent to the week before. So the week before that, I had 5 days of sales, and I did $800 in sales in 5 days. This period, which is also still 5 days, in total, I did $769.63 in sales. So that's pretty good, and that's fairly consistent with the week before. So I would say that makes sense. No complaints here. My goal is $100 per day in sales between the different platforms that I have. And like I said, I do have another side hustle besides just this that is also flexible but brings in money to me. So it's not my only form of income. However, $769 in 5 days, that definitely hits the $100 sales mark goal. And, you know, like I said, I'm happy with that. I would consider my online reselling portion of my life is part-time. I usually am in the 25-hour range for how much time I dedicate to sourcing, shipping, listing. So there you have it, $769. On eBay, I did $599.63. So basically $600 on eBay in 5 days. eBay almost always is my leading platform, so that's not surprising. Poshmark, I only did $125, which is kind of low, honestly. I'm not real impressed with that for 5 days. Yeah, it's okay. I'm always happy for every sale. It just seems lower than where I would like. And then Depop, I had $45 in sales, which was only 2 items that sold. And that's kind of how Depop always is for me. I usually have 1, 2 different sales, but they're usually decent sales. They're usually $20, $30, $40 sales. And so, hey, you know what? For a week, if you only do $40 on a platform per week, you know, you're looking at $160 for a month. That's one bill. And I'm always telling you guys, I'm trying to pay them bills, right? Just like every other human on the planet, I'm just trying to get money to support my family and pay them bills. So I'm happy with this. I will pop on the computer here and I will show you some of my best sales. I have a lot of bread and butter sales. Now, my bread and butter sales are where I take items that I typically purchase for $1, $2, $3, usually pretty low amount, less than $5 most of the time. And I flip them for $20, $25, $30. That's like my bread and butter. I do have a couple stinker sales, as I call them. Stinker being that not that great. And I will go into what I think happened with those sales as well. So hopefully it's helpful and useful in some way. So let me turn this around and I will show you guys. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start with some of my Poshmark sales. I was actually surprised at how quickly this Torrid item sold. It sold in less than a month. Torrid, it was a 00 in Torrid, which is a medium to a large baby doll tank. It was brand new with a pretty kind of classic print here. Torrid is bread and butter for me. I sell it quite often. However, I will say the market for Torrid has gone down. Most of the items are selling a little bit slower. You have to be a little bit more particular, and the dollar amount is going to be a little bit less than what I used to expect several years ago. So this sold for $24 plus shipping pretty quickly. It was new with tag. It does have the stretchy rayon or jersey knit material, which I do think usually helps my Torrid items, usually more plus size, but a 00 is a smaller size. So you know what though, $24, I actually paid nothing. This was given to me. So that's always a good thing. If you have people who give you items, I know that's pretty common in the reseller world. If people find out that you're a reseller, they might actually give you things to sell. And hey, I don't know, I think that's a good thing. Here, this item sat for a little bit longer than I expected, but it still sold for $31. This is the brand Diamond Supply, which is a decent brand. It's more like a streetwear type of brand. I put pop culture music. I don't know why I put preppy. I think I put preppy in this because it's more of like a varsity style jacket, and those are very trendy right now. So Diamond Supply, dark blue varsity bomber Letterman jacket. You can see that big diamond logo there. It buttoned up the front. You know, this did have a lot of really nice details. I just think this brand is hit or miss, and you might get a decent amount. This sold for $31, but you might have to wait for it. So just keep that in mind. This is such a funny sale to me. I showed this to you guys not that long ago in a haul video. I have sold Quacker Factory for a very long time. Again, this is a brand, and how like reselling is always in a transitional phase and things are always changing. You have to be a little bit more particular about your Quacker Factory items. I used to just get everything in Quacker Factory. However, if it has some nice details, it has this graphic on the front. So let me tell you, Quacker Factory size 3X Christmas manger embroidered top. You can see it has a beautiful like holiday themed embroidery details with sequins and bling. And Quacker Factory is known for that, with all the bling and just like a little bit more involved pieces. But you guys, this sold in March, and it really is like more of a holiday Christmas top. That goes to show you just never know when something could sell. I listed it because I had several similar items to this. I had I think I had 2 Halloween themed items. So sometimes when I grab items that are similar, I just list them all at the same time because it's easy for me to do with a sell similar. Anyways, this sold, Quacker Factory, this sold for $24 plus shipping. I only paid $3 in the shop in a thrift store for this, a regular thrift store. So again, that's like my bread and butter, buying items for $3 and selling them for $24 plus shipping is about a $15, $16 profit. And that's kind of how I run the bulk of my business. I also remember showing you guys this pair of sandals within the last month or two. The brand is Riker, Rieker. Sandals size 8.5, strappy, slingback, and wedge. Let me get you the logo so you can see. I have shown you guys this brand, and I do okay with this. This is another bread and butter brand for me. You can see it there kind of on the heel. They do have it's the EU sizing. See how it says 39 there? So you do have to kind of put in your USA sizing just for customers to understand what size they're looking at. But this brand I've sold, I don't know, maybe 3 times in the last 3 months. And it's not like I pick it up every day. So it's a pretty solid bread and butter shoe brand for me. And this, we're going into sandal season. This is really pretty. The strappy, it almost gives me gladiator style, almost like an Aztec-y kind of button there. Just really pretty details. And I do think there's a following for this brand in shoes. Just know you're probably only going to get $20 to $30 in that range somewhere. And make sure you stack the reasons to pick it up. Now, Depop, I did have 2 items. Let's see, was this other one? Yeah, they were both style-based pickups, and that is very common in my Depop items. They're style-based items. And what that is for me is that I picked up these items because they fit into a certain aesthetic, meaning a certain style vibe out there. Is it cowgirl? Is it goth? Is it fairy? Is it equestrian? There's all different types of style vibes. Is it Y2K? I do a lot with Y2K. This really fell into the fairy grunge realm. It was a vintage burnout tank. It was new a tag still though, which, you know, they're not obviously still making this piece. And it did have velvet. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, is that how you say that? Velvet is really big in the fairy goth grunge market. Aesthetic, you know, the type of people who are buying this type of item. Also, this very dark purple is, you know, and if you're curious, you can go back to some of my other What Sold videos or some of my haul videos where I kind of go over some of these things. You're like, what the heck is fairy grunge? And to be completely fair, I am always learning myself. Reselling and styles are always kind of like, you know, changing. So the dark colors, the dark black, the dark purple's very trendy in the dark goth fairy grunge community. It did have a little bit of this baby doll fitting to it. It was partial velvet. It did have the ruffle down the front. All of those reasons give it the fairy goth, fairy grunge vibe. See how this has like kind of a burnout look where part of it is really showing really well and some of it isn't. Those are all style reasons why I picked this up. And it was a great sale. This sold for $25 plus shipping. And a lot of my style-based items go in that range. So if you're picking up at the bins, a garage sale, or like your thrift store is charging only like $3, $4, $5, flipping it to $25 makes complete sense. This was also a style-based piece. I have only gone to a Savers 1 time. And this came from Savers. There's a Savers like an hour away from me. I was feeling adventurous and went to a random place. Like a random Savers I had never been before. This was $3.99. I think because it was vintage and it didn't look very appealing to them that they priced it down, because most of the Savers store was extremely expensive for me. Most of the items were like $8, $10, $12, $14. It was too much. This was $3.99. Vintage button-down men's cardigan in XL. I put the Style Vibes Grandpa Core dad, like a dad cardigan, and Aztec. I probably also should have put in maybe golf, because it kind of has like a golf vibe to it. But you can see on the tag here that it was a vintage, kind of a really unique piece. Here it is, Santana, made in Korea, which a lot of times if the items are made in different countries, sometimes that gives you kind of a heads up that it could potentially be either a higher dollar amount item, or that it could be like a vintage or Y2K era item. Now we're getting into some of my eBay sales. I got this at the bins. Mondetta is like an activewear athleisure brand, men's full zip hooded active jacket, size XXL. Here's the brand for you, Mondetta. You know, it's not something I pick up a ton. I picked this up because we were going into spring, and this is like a spring or lighter weight jacket. The size is XXL. It is hooded. It's full zip. I knew that it was going to be a $20 to $30 piece, and that's right where it landed at $26.17 plus shipping. Now, this is kind of a fun random sale for me. You guys are like, what is this? Every once in a while, I do some hard goods, something different. I do really enjoy hard goods. I just don't know what I'm doing as much. So this is a bug trap, basically. But it was new. It was sealed. It was in box. And literally all I did was do a Google photo search, and I found that this had just recently sold on eBay for $30. So I was like, what? And it was $3.99 at a regular Goodwill, and it had all the pieces inside. So I took a risk. I thought $3.99 to $39, or in the 30 range, I'm going to do that. And it did well for me. I left the start time up here. See, it says February 25th. This sold within, even my husband was like, what? Didn't you just list that? And I said, yes, because it sold in like 10 days. It's a beetle trap. I used my Google photo app to pull up the item, and the solds looked good, and I just gave it a shot. An excellent sale. $3.99 to $39. What's that? That's like a good profit. I was going to say it's like 1,000% profit, but I don't think that's right. So this pair of jeans actually sold very quickly for me, and I was a little bit surprised because this was in my men's to list bin for a little bit. 7 for All Mankind, which is a very common brand you'll see. Men's 34 by 32 Austin Straight Luxe jeans. I don't do a whole lot with men's jeans. I did look up the style, and the solds were okay. I don't know if the size propelled this because it's a very classic size. 34 by 32 is like a very common size, so maybe that propelled it to sell quicker. It sold quickly. See, I put start time, like this thing sold in days. Like, it was insane how quickly this sold, and I didn't even understand why. But hey, you know what? That's part of the learning process. It sold for $29 plus shipping, and I got these at the bins. And I think most people are passing on most jeans. So, hey, if you're looking at somewhere to kind of learn, maybe it would be in the jeans. I find bins full of jeans at the Goodwill outlet all the time. And I'm very picky at what I picked up. $29 plus ship, so that's okay. Now, this is a brand I have found maybe a dozen times in my life. I think the following is kind of questionable. The brand is James Perse, Perse, modal blend, basic short sleeve shirt. This is one of those higher end designer brands that doesn't resell very well. It's like sometimes some of these higher end brands can be kind of confusing because you're like, what? This shirt brand new was $150, but then it really only has about a $20 resale value. And that's just how it is. James Perse, I will only pick up if it is a very low cost of goods. Otherwise, it seems exciting, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. In my experience. You guys, whenever I'm saying these things, like, please know it's only because it's my experience, my knowledge, my research. All the time, I listen to other resellers all the time, and it's like, oh, I sell this brand all the time. And I'm like, what? That brand's crap for me. So, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just showing you what sells for me and kind of giving my input on why it sold or kind of what my personal opinion is on it at this moment. Again, here's a Torrid sale. Bread and butter. I got these at the bins. These are like a really cute, very strappy pair of heels from Torrid. Torrid shoes are expensive, okay? Torrid shoes are like $60, $70, $80, $100 for their shoes. This is a size 11 strappy heel, false suede. It was 11 wide, actually, extra wide, which is, I do think, a selling point. If you find shoes that are in wide or double wide, I do feel like there is a couple more dollars to be made in that size shoe, in my experience. But these were for the bins. From the bins, I probably paid $3 for them, and they sold for $30 within only like 2-3 weeks. So that was actually a very quick sale. Again, a larger size with the double wide, I do think would, has propelled this to sell for a little bit more. Here's another brand I love to pick up. It is Pact, P-A-C-T, organic fit and flare dress. I put in the keywords sustainable, eco-friendly, and earthy because Pact, that is like a big part of their branding. Look, actually it says right on this tag, Earth's favorite clothing. Most of their materials are organic or sustainable, and that's why I put those keywords in there. There definitely is a huge customer base who are looking for recycled materials or items that are made from more sustainable sources or more natural sources. So this is 95% organic cotton. Very cute dress with like an earthy feel to it. It sold for $25.93 plus shipping. P-A-C-T, Pact. That's definitely a brand that if I see it, I'm looking it up. This is kind of a funny sale because I would almost never tell you to pick up St. John's Bay. This is an old, like, JCPenney Shopko. Anybody know about Shopko? Maybe it was even sold at Kohl's. Like a very, I don't think this brand is even made anymore. It was in a death pile, and I finally listed it, and it sold, no joke, in like 3 weeks. Why? My thought is it's a high size again. This is a size 12 wide in women's, which is a large size. Now you're like, what? Who wears that size? This girl. I have big feet, and I'm almost 6 foot tall. So if you didn't know, my family, we're just like, I don't know. We should probably be, I don't know. We're like abnormally large people. My son is like 6'2". I'm actually kind of short compared to some of my family. My nephew is 6'5". My niece is 6'1". So who wears size 12 women's shoes? Us big people. It's us tall people. So why do I think this sold? I think it's just like a classic style with the black and tan colors. They were new at tags, and it was a hard to find size 12 shoe. So if you find like a classic style or a cute style, low heel, you don't want a huge heel. Let me tell you, I am almost 6 foot. I'm 5'10", 5'11". I'm shrinking in my old age. But you don't want a huge heel on these big sizes typically. But they're hard to find. It is so hard to find my size. Go into Kohl's, you will not find a size 12. Like, it's really hard to find my shoe size. So I think this is just a classic, basic type of style. It is new with tags, and it was size 12. And that's why I think these sold so quickly. They sold quick, $25. So, hey, if you want to look into larger women's size shoes, there is a market there. I am one of those people. It's hard to find that size. $25 though. This was in my death pile, and I found it at the bins. That's a $15 profit. That's a bread and butter sale for me. Now, again, this is another thing that sold very quickly. I found it at the bins, and it's a large size. Now, I'm not telling you to pick up everything that's large size. However, I do think sometimes that adds a few more dollar amounts to how much you're going to sell it for. And I do think the sell-through rate can be a little bit better with these harder to find sizes. Look, this says extra tall. It said right there, extra tall, size 19 in a men's dress shirt is really large. That's the neck, and then the 38, 39 is the sleeve length. So again, if you find things that are in a larger size, it might be worth looking at. This sold for $20.30, bread and butter for me all day. Torrid, another bread and butter here. Torrid, this was a new with tags, beautiful dress, size 4, which is a 4X. This sold for $25.93. You guys are like, this is what you do. Yes, this is what I do all day. Here are examples of items that can sell in the $20 to $30 range and how you can kind of build your business to be making money. This is a great find. Another Polo Ralph Lauren. I'm doing a little bit more with this brand. This was a rugby style shirt, which the style is very in right now. Polo Ralph Lauren, men's XL, custom fit, thick stripe, and I put in retro because the rugby style is kind of a retro vibe. Custom fit, I really don't even know what that means in the Ralph Lauren world. I didn't even really have to put in any keywords. This sold on its own, $23.75 plus shipping. What I'm finding now that I'm getting back into the Ralph Lauren game is a lot of the pieces, long sleeves, polo shirts, you're looking at $20 to $30. If it has the logo, a lot of times you need to have some kind of pony or something on it, and a decent size and in good quality, in good condition. Don't just buy junk. I mean, of course. I don't do a lot in shorts on YouTube here, but this was one of the items I had said that I sold my first health and beauty item. I'm always trying to learn. We're never too old to learn new things, and people do really well with health and beauty items. I picked this up for $2.99 and it sold for $19.99. And I really don't pick up health and beauty. It sold quick. It sold in 3 weeks. Anything that I can make a $10, $15, $20 profit and sell within a couple weeks is a good item for me. So I cannot be your I'm not going to be the person who knows everything about health and beauty for you, but every once in a while I'll throw in things that, maybe might make you think about picking up something different. These I actually found at the bins, which is really strange. I think someone threw them back, and I do have some luck with that when people throw things back into the bins because they decided they didn't want it, and I just happened to be there and I pick it up really fast because these are Nike low top sneakers, size 15, another big size. Tan and blue, just like a classic, almost like an athleisure style shoe, sold for $46. Size 15 in a men's shoe is hard to find. If you can find a quality item in good shape, you want to look at the soles, you want to look at the shoelaces, you want to look on the inside ankle part, where like your ankle would hit, because if that has a lot of wear, you don't want it. I have looked at a lot of shoes in my life over these 14 years, and look at these soles. These are in great shape, okay? If you look at the underside of a shoe and it looks slick, like you're just going to glide across the flooring, you don't really want that. You want something with a nice sole. These were in good, pretty good condition. And they sold for a good price. Now here's one of the stinker sales. I didn't do a ton of stinker sales. I did a lot, actually, in my last one. This is a brand that I used to pick up a ton of. Soft surrounding, size small, 100% cotton dress. And this was a stinker sale. I used to love picking up soft surroundings. I had to get so excited to find it. But however, the markets have changed, the trends have changed, and I do believe this is an oversaturated market, which just means, that's like kind of how things work, right? Like the supply and the demand. People figure out that a certain brand or style is trending, and then everyone starts to pick it up or try to list it, and then there's too many out there, so it takes too long for them to sell. I do still pick up soft surroundings. What I would say, though, is be very careful. Try to find items that are larger sizes or more substantial pieces. Look for quality material bases. Like I said, larger sizes are typically going to do better for you. And maybe something that's more involved. Like this is just a red dress. Very pretty, and I hope the customer loves it. However, there's not a whole lot going on for me to upsell it. If it had some beautiful embroidery, or it was 100% linen, or, some of those things where it was like a size extra large or 1X, like a bigger size, all of those things would hopefully or should propel it to be a better sale. So soft surroundings, just one of those brands I used to really, really love finding. And now I am very, very picky on what I pick up and stack those items, those reasons to pick it up. All right, guys, there you have it. There is another 5-day what sold video. Like I said, it's pretty on trend with my last 5 days. So hopefully I can stick in that range. I'd love to still be in the $700 to $800 for 5 days. We'll see if that continues. I mention all the time that reselling is always a roller coaster, and there's always reasons why things kind of pick up and slow down. hopefully this time period, March, April, May, maybe into June, is, you know, when sales are usually pretty good. You're in a transitional time of year where people are looking for new spring, summer travel pieces of selling. But typically, once you get into summer, like June, July, those are kind of like lower sales for me typically, because people are out doing things, they're traveling, they're taking vacation, their kids are off school, all these different reasons. They're trying to enjoy the nice weather, which is more so for us here in Wisconsin, because we don't, you know, about half our lives is spent inside because of snow and ice storms. So when we can get out in June and July, we're outside doing things, and, you know, we're not necessarily inside purchasing things. So in my history, usually I say the J's, January, June, July, are typically my lowest sales amounts. So from here on out, hopefully I can stay pretty consistent with these numbers. You know, I'm looking at them here. My average for a week is in the $1,000 range, because I do 5-day videos and then I do the 2-day videos, right? So that gives you a week. So if I can stay with the $1,000 a week as a solo part-time reseller with another side hustle, I am super happy with that. I try to stay grounded and realistic about my expectations and goals. And that's hard to do, because, you know, sometimes you're watching all these other resellers and I'm hearing, oh, I sold $4,000 this week. And I'm like, I suck. I should quit. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, it's actually, who was it? I think it was KD again. I've mentioned her many times. KD Walters. Comparison is a thief of joy. And I was like, preach. Absolutely. Yes, girl. Comparison can be a thief of joy. So I hope that we all can, including me. I get sucked into these expectations that are just not realistic to me. Like, let's all stay grounded, set realistic goals and expectations, and hopefully then that can lead to positive, that we're just not overdoing it and we're thinking, oh, I better get to 5,000 sales or I'm a failure. The truth of the matter is we're all busy and life is busy, and depending on what you're doing, you know, I'm just trying to motivate you to stay grounded. And even for me, I need that reminder all the time, because I will wake up and just in a fit, I'm like, I suck at this. I need to do better. And we're all just too hard on ourselves. So I am happy with the $700, $800 in a week, or in that 5-day period, or $1,000 for 7 days. I think that's fantastic. I think that's okay. You guys let me know. Do you guys set goals for yourself? Do you have any goals for the future? I feel like if I can stick with this, I'm going to be happy with that and continue with that. All right, you guys. I hope this was helpful or useful in some way. I don't think I mentioned it yet. I have like 75% of my listeners are not subscribed to the channel. So if you don't mind, at least hitting that like button or subscribing so you'll get all the notifications of my videos that go out. Hit that little subscribe button. That would be super helpful. I really appreciate it. And I hope you know how much it means to me that you guys are here with me. If you made it this long, I wish I could send you something really nice, because I would. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next one.